good to see you again. Hello, it's me, Sally Thimball. Oh, I was busy visiting my friend Hans, and that's why I was wearing this mask. I hope you guys are also wearing your masks when you go outside too. Well, he was actually telling me a really wonderful story. He tells the best stories, really. And he was telling me about a story about someone who was feeling very lost and how they found where they were meant to be and where they truly belonged. Would you like to hear it? It's a lot of fun. Oh, wonderful. Let's go inside and hear it, shall we? Here we go. Let's get nice and cozy. Nice and cozy. Now I just need to remember how it goes. Oh, okay. I remember how it goes now. All right. Do you want to hear what the story is called? The story is called The Ugly Duckling. Are you ready? Here I go. Now, once upon a time, a mother duck sat by a lake, waiting for her eggs to hatch. She had been waiting a really long time. So very long. She just wanted her eggs to hatch. Finally, the big day came, and one by one they started to hatch, with a cute little duckling hatching from out of the shells. She was so excited. They were all so cute. But you see, strangely, one of the little ducklings who came out of the biggest egg, he looked very different from all of his siblings. His neck was far too long and his features were just too big. It was very strange. Now, this made the poor little duckling a very easy target for bullying. His siblings made so much fun of him, and they called him ugly and all sorts of names, and all the animals from a nearby farm would also call him names and would push him around and hurt him a lot. The poor ugly duckling was very sad and very lonely, and soon he ran away from home. Dearest friends, isn't that so sad? That poor little duckling. He was all alone, and he shouldn't have been treated so badly by his friends and family, don't you think? I'd like to think if I was there, I would stop them from bullying him. Wouldn't you? I think so. Anyway, the ugly duckling wandered from place to place, all over the place, trying to find a place to call home. He found a group of wild geese, and he thought, this could be my home, and they thought he looked funny, but they said he could stay with them, and he thought, oh, I finally have found my home. But then a hunter came and captured all the geese. It was very scary. He thought he was going to be captured, but luckily the hunter's dog let him go. You know what he said? He said, you're quite an ugly looking bird, but you're not a geese, so we're not interested in you. And so he ran off. The poor ugly duckling was all alone again, and he was really scared. Do you know why? Because winter was approaching really fast, and he needed to find shelter to survive. What was he going to do? It was very scary. He saw a flock of migrating swans, and he thought, oh, I could join them, but he was too small, and he hadn't learned to fly yet. He was stuck. And then winter came. It was cold and wet, and the poor little duckling was all on his own. What was he going to do? Well, you see, he thought that maybe his luck was starting to, turn around when a farmer came by and saw the poor little duckling all shivered up in the cold, picked him up and took him home. He was so grateful. The farmer and his wife seemed very nice, but they kept asking him to lay an egg for them, and he just couldn't do that. He felt really bad about that. Also, it didn't really help that all the farmer's children liked to play with him very roughly and would pull his feathers and be very rough with him. He didn't like that very much at all. The poor little duckling just couldn't take it anymore after a while, and he ran away again. He wandered all alone in the cold until he found a big dark cave next to a lake that had frozen over. Guess this is where I'll have to stay, thought the poor duckling, and he cuddled up, and that's where he stayed for the entire winter in that big dark cave. Dearest friends, can you imagine spending the winter, that cold time, in a big dark cave all by yourself? Could you enjoy it? I don't think I'd like it very much. But thankfully, eventually, spring came. Remember, after winter, spring arrives. And when spring arrives, it gets hotter, and leaves start becoming beautiful colors again, and the sun comes out to play, and the other birds return from their journeys because they had migrated for the winter. The ugly duckling, now fully grown, one day woke up to hear splashing in the lake outside his cave. He saw that there were a bunch of, like a flock of swans who were just playing outside in the lake. And you know what? He had been alone for so long that he just couldn't take it anymore. I can't bear to be alone anymore, he thought. I don't care if I'm made fun of. I can't be alone anymore. I need friends. And so he mustered up his courage and he waddled outside to introduce himself to all the swans. And he was so surprised when they seemed to welcome him into their group. Your neck is so beautiful, said one. Another one mentioned that his feathers were so soft and so smooth. Another one thought his wings were gorgeous. This was so strange to the duckling. And so he looked into the lake at his reflection, which he had been avoiding for a very long time because he didn't think much of his looks. And you know what he saw? Instead of an ugly duckling, he saw a beautiful swan. He hadn't been a duck at all. All this time, he had actually been a swan. He was so relieved to hear that. Come live with us, cried the flock of swans. Be with us. And the now beautiful swan accepted it and wept with joy. As the flock took flight, the beautiful swan spread his wings and joined with the rest of his new family. The end. Oh, dearest friends, wasn't that a wonderful story? I know I enjoyed it a lot. I'm so glad the swan found where he truly belonged. It makes me think that even if you're all alone and you feel like there's no one like you out there, or there's no one that can understand you, there are people out there like you in the world, and they can't wait to meet you and make you a part of their family. Oh, but speaking of that, I better go make dinner for all my furry friends. I have to go now, but it was so lovely to see you again, and